You could afford to not make all of your money when it played in the theater because you knew you had the DVD coming behind the release, and 6 months later you'd get a whole nother chunk.
And then I went, thank God I wasn't hitting Julie.
But the things you discover about yourself while you're acting.
Well, it's about self-discovery.
You get from a pretty girl and it's clean, and you don't have to worry about it. People would be outraged, like, well, how am I going to have power over this man if I can't control his?
Have you ever wondered what it really takes to make it in Hollywood? Well, according to recent buzz, it might involve more than just talent. Matt Damon, one of the industry's biggest stars, is now at the heart of a scandalous debate.
I'm coming here to make good movies. Miramax was the place, really the place that was making great stuff in the 90s.
Rumors are swirling that Damon might have sacrificed his integrity for a shot at fame and fortune, but he's not staying silent. Damon's coming forward to confront these claims, revealing that he's not the only one who may have made such a trade. Could it be that in the race for wealth and stardom, many in Hollywood have compromised their values? Let's dive into the truth behind these shocking allegations.
You could afford to not make all of your money when it played in the theater because you knew you had the DVD coming behind the release, and 6 months later you'd get a whole nother chunk.
First, let's talk about how he is also accused of selling his soul. Matt Damon has made headlines recently due to his perceived negative image. Interestingly, his fellow actor and close collaborator Ben Affleck has spoken out about the situation. Affleck claims that there might have been external pressures from industry higher-ups that compelled Manon to pursue fame. But why? Well, it seems like the reasons behind this alleged coercion are known to Affleck himself.
Survivors are finding their voice, and people are sort of like, and I include myself in this, really discovering the terrible extent of this problem.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon have collaborated on multiple projects with Harvey Weinstein. In the past, Affleck publicly commended Weinstein for his involvement in their work together. During the 1997 Oscars, when Affleck won an award for Good Will Hunting, he expressed gratitude, saying, "Harvey Weinstein, who believed in us and made this movie." However, some observers noted that he appeared somewhat nervous during his acceptance speech.
Of us to thank Harvey Weinstein, who believed in us and made this movie, Gus Van Sant for brilliant direction.
Statement on his Facebook account saying that he was saddened and angry that a man he once worked with took advantage of his power to intimidate, essay, and manipulate many women over decades. "The additional allegations of A that I read this morning made me sick," Affleck added. Affleck continued to say that he's asking himself what he can do to make sure this doesn't happen to others. "We must support those who come forward, condemn this type of behavior when we see it, and help ensure there are more women in positions of power," Affleck concluded. And some people also believe that Ben was on Harvey's red flag list, pointing towards suspicious actions, before the release of explosive reports that catalyzed the #MeToo movement and ultimately contributed to the downfall of the former movie mogul. Harvey Weinstein maintained a list of individuals he was apprehensive might speak to journalists in 2017 about his interactions with women. Ben Affleck's name was among those listed in this document, commonly referred to as the red flag list, a detail corroborated by Variety upon review.
You seeing it this prevalent, in this industry, it must extend into, finance and tech and all these other places, and it's really disturbing.
Reportedly, this list was just one component of approximately 1,000 pages of documents that were unsealed at the New York City criminal courthouse prior to Harvey Weinstein's sentencing. During Weinstein's 7-week trial, this document was mentioned, but only the name of accuser Annabella Sciorra was disclosed as being on the list. The lead prosecutor sought to present the entire list, which included both male and female names, to the jury for their examination. However, the judge ultimately denied this request.
Really, I was 24 years old. I'd never made a movie. I didn't know much of anything, really. And, it really is a shame because although I stopped working with Harvey a long time ago.
There is speculation among some individuals that if Ben Affleck's name appeared on the list, Matt Damon's name might have been included as well. This speculation arises from the belief that Matt Damon could have also been a victim of Harvey Weinstein and potentially had some negative experiences with him, considering that Ben had already shared his own experiences involving Harvey Weinstein. Affleck said the experiences he had creating his early works with Weinstein are now tainted because while we were making these movies, there were people who were suffering. He reiterated his aim to donate any residual income he earns from Weinstein's films to organizations such as RAINN and Film Independent. And Joe Rogan has also pointed out Harvey's more suspicious actions. As he delved deeper into the complex world of Tinseltown, he illuminated some intriguing connections and interactions that have sparked widespread speculation and conversation.
He apparently hugged a woman and his hand went down her back. This is the depiction.
In the podcast, Rogan explored how Weinstein operated within Hollywood's shadowy corners. He revealed that Weinstein allegedly made grandiose promises to young and aspiring actors, but these promises came with terrifying conditions. Rogan suggested that some of these actors, in their desperate bid for fame, might have found themselves in compromising situations with Weinstein, situations that were far from professional. At the core of Weinstein's manipulation, as detailed by Rogan, was a disturbing quid pro quo scenario. He purportedly told these aspiring actors that if they engaged in acts with him, they would be rewarded with the coveted opportunity to become stars in his movies. However, once an actor had acquiesced to his demands, they were subjected to further exploitation. In addition to that, Rogan also revealed that Weinstein would shower these individuals with attention and privileges, effectively keeping them under his control. However, this lavish treatment came at a price, as Weinstein expected these actors to spend even more intimate and private time with him. It was a chilling cycle of manipulation and exploitation that left these actors feeling trapped. What's more, to maintain the illusion of genuine affection, Rogan asserted that Weinstein would encourage these actors to send him affectionate and even romantic emails. These messages on the surface seemed to reflect a loving relationship, but in reality, the actors harbored deep resentment towards Weinstein for the compromising situations they found themselves in.
So they would send him emails, lovey-dovey emails.
What's even more disheartening, as Joe Rogan pointed out, is that some of these actors would themselves befriend Weinstein in hopes of advancing their careers through the Hollywood gatekeeper. But what Rogan hinted at was even more disturbing, that male actors, including the likes of Matt Damon, might have been ensnared in Weinstein's twisted games. This revelation raises uncomfortable questions. How far were these actors willing to go to achieve their dreams? And what compromises did they make along the way?
You know, I'm coming here to make good movies. Miramax was the place, really the place that was making great stuff in the 90s.
Damon has publicly acknowledged Weinstein's role in his career, especially in the success of the critically acclaimed film Good Will Hunting. In interviews, Damon and his close friend Ben Affleck have spoken about how Weinstein's support was crucial in getting their screenplay made.
In 20 seconds. Upon whom it's incumbent of us to thank Harvey Weinstein, who believed in us and made this movie.
However, Joe Rogan's analysis delves deeper into the dynamics at play behind the scenes. He suggests that the relationship between Weinstein and other male actors, such as Damon and Affleck, may not have been purely professional. Instead, it might have involved a more complex exchange, one that blurred the lines between ambition and personal compromise. This perspective challenges our understanding of how power dynamics operated within the industry and raises uncomfortable questions about the choices made by those who benefited from Weinstein's support. In the context of the Weinstein scandal, it becomes evident that the power dynamics within Hollywood were not confined solely to the interactions between powerful producers and aspiring actresses. Male actors, too, could find themselves in situations where their ambitions were intertwined with their ability to navigate the complexities of an industry known for its predatory practices. Furthermore, Matt Damon and George Clooney's acknowledgement of their awareness of Weinstein's behavior sheds light on a problematic culture of silence that existed within Hollywood. In an interview on Good Morning America in October 2017, when their friendship and professional ties to Weinstein put them in a challenging position, they discussed their perceptions of Weinstein as a bully and a womanizer, but claimed to be ignorant of the extent of the essay allegations. During the interview, Damon made a significant admission. He was aware of Weinstein's essay of Gwyneth Paltrow before she began filming Emma in 1996.
I knew the story about Gwyneth from Ben because he was with her after Brad, but I knew that they had come to whatever agreement or understanding that they had come to. She had handled it, and she was, you know, the first lady of Miramax.
This admission was crucial, as it revealed a troubling aspect of the entertainment industry's culture of silence. For context, Paltrow had previously shared her disturbing encounter with Weinstein, describing how he had invited her to a hotel under the guise of a work meeting, only to make unwelcome advances and suggest they go to the bedroom for massages. Paltrow, then 22 years old, felt petrified during the encounter and later confided in her then boyfriend, Brad Pitt, who confronted Weinstein. Damon Damon's acknowledgement of his knowledge about Paltrow's ordeal raises important questions about complicity and silence. While he claimed that he never discussed it with Paltrow, he did reveal that Ben Affleck, another actor closely associated with Weinstein, had informed him about the situation. Damon recounted that Affleck had told him there was an understanding between Weinstein and Paltrow, and that Weinstein had treated her incredibly respectfully afterward. This revelation highlights the complex web of relationships and power dynamics that permeated Hollywood. Damon's silence, as Joe Rogan suggested, might have been driven by the fear of losing the support of a powerful figure who was instrumental in his rise to stardom. In fact, it is alleged that Damon went as far as to cover up Weinstein's essay. You see, in 2017, the rap founder Sharon Waxman accused the New York Times of backing down from a similar story in 2004 due to intense pressure from high-profile people such as Damon and Russell Crowe. Waxman said her piece revolved around an executive at the Italian branch of Miramax who had supposedly been paid just to facilitate Weinstein's essay. She added, "After intense pressure from Weinstein, which included having Matt Damon and Russell Crowe call me directly to vouch for Lombardo and unknown discussions well above my head at the Times, the story was gutted. I was told at the time that Weinstein had visited the newsroom in person to make his displeasure known. I knew he was a major advertiser in the Times and that he was a powerful person overall." In response, Damon said he had no knowledge about the subject of Waxman's story. He said Weinstein only told him that the paper was doing a hit job on Lombardo. Harvey said, "Sharon Waxman is writing a story about Fabrizio, and it's really negative. Can you just call and tell her what your experience with Fabrizio was?" So I did. And that's what I said to her. It didn't even make the piece that she wrote. As I recall, her piece just said that Russell and I had called and relayed our experience with Fabrizio, he said. The fallout from these revelations has left many questioning Damon's true character. Some argue that Damon isn't necessarily a bad person, but rather someone who looks out for himself. Someone who has chosen to stay in his lane, even when doing so means turning a blind eye to horrible actions. One fan commented, "I wouldn't say Matt Damon is a bad guy necessarily, but he looks out for himself. He's been friends and connected to a lot of horrible people, but doesn't say anything or says he didn't know. He stays in his lane to the point of letting horrible stuff happen." Another fan added, "Let's be honest, if Matt Damon or Ben Affleck would have spoken up at the time this happened, they probably would have been erased from Hollywood." These comments bring up a much larger concern about the dangers involved in exposing Hollywood's dark underbelly. For actors like Damon and Affleck, speaking out against someone as powerful as Weinstein could have potentially ended their careers. But does the fear of losing their status really excuse staying silent? Joe Rogan's willingness to tackle these uncomfortable and controversial issues highlights that the problem of power and exploitation in Hollywood is complex and far-reaching, extending well beyond just gender. It prompts fans to think about the ethical dilemmas actors face in their pursuit of success. How far are they willing to go, and what are they willing to overlook just to stay in the game? It also raises questions about how power dynamics can shape their career paths, forcing them into difficult choices that might compromise their values. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.